Hey y'all, welcome to Pink Shade. It's Tuesday. It's Mary Payne here, and I've got my friend Kimberly from A Date with Dateline to talk about 90 Day Before the 90 Days, Season 6, Episode 11, St. Elmo's Fire. Nope.
Nothing in this episode is about a group of friends who hang out at a bar and they're trying to figure out their lives.
Right.
And someone plays the saxophone. That's just not what this episode is about. So what are they talking about?
Where is Rob Lowe? I don't
Nowhere.
see him. No.
Ali
This is all
Sheedy?
about,
No.
no.
Andrew
You
McCarthy?
know, that speaking of St. Elmo's Fire, that was filmed in Georgetown, and a former boss of mine, her friend was hooking up with Judd Nelson. Her friend
Oh.
was hooking up with Judd Nelson like the whole time they were filming it.
Oh.
And then she went one night and Rob Lowe was there, allegedly.
Uh-huh.
And allegedly, he took his penis out and showed it to her. And she was like, yeah, I got to go. It's not what I was signed up for. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The 80s.
Yeah. It was the 80s. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway. Yeah. So that's that story. Oh God.
I am not going to say anything that I know about Rob Lowe.
Yeah, I think, yeah, right. So anyway, that's an alleged story from my friend. So, my old boss.
I signed an NDA at my old job. I can't say anything.
I know one day, I was telling somebody the other day about your NDA. I think it was my husband. And he was like, at some point that NDA has to expire.
I know.
Because the person is not alive anymore.
I know.
I said, well, I think she's respectful of the family. And
Yeah.
Kimberly's a good egg. Speaking of being respectful, right here at the top of the show, I just want to mention that I did have a podcast come out last week with my friends and fellow podcasters, Julie and Brandy, who have a great podcast called Dumb Gay Politics. They have a wonderful Patreon. Everyone should check it out. And they had a show on Jeff Lewis Live, the after show, which was a great show and I loved it. And we discussed it kind of at length because they had been kind of going through some stuff there at Sirius XM with the executive team and having a hard time like fitting into a corporate box, which is hard when you're creative. They're writers and actors, and Julie is a stand-up comedian also. I mean, like, Julie's been on Curb Your Enthusiasm. I mean, like, they're legit. And they're writing partners. They've written movies and things together. And anyway, they just sort of talked about what was going on and how they were trying to, not have attitude and fit into a corporate box, even though they're really creative people. And it wasn't working, but they were trying. And so anyway, Jeff put out a episode on Monday of his show on Radio Andy, not his channel, not the after show, but his show that's on Radio Andy, explaining that they had a couple of strikes and that they weren't doing what they were asked, in a corporate setting, and that then they had been on a podcast and then he had let them go. So I just want to say that it's not my fault.
No.
I asked questions, they answered. I told them I could edit whatever. They said everything's fine. And then it came out, and then they did ask me to edit a bunch, and I did.
Yes.
Took it down, edited it, put it right back up with the things out that they asked me to do. But I think at that point, whoever wanted to hear it had already heard it because it'd been out for half a day. Anyway, so I'm very, very sad and sorry about that because I love them no matter what. And I loved that show. And it was a great idea. And I thought it was working and thought it was doing great. But I don't work for a big corporation. I'm sure if I did, I would be shushed every 10 minutes.
Yeah. It sounds like it's just not a great match. And you were kind of caught in the middle, or you were the tipping point. Your show was the tipping point.
Yeah,
But
not me.
Not you.
Me.
Their
Not me.
appearance on your show was the tipping point.
Yeah.
For something that wasn't a great fit. And I'm sure it sounds like they're brilliant women and they'll go on to do more amazing things.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the hope and the goal, because hopefully from all this drama, they will at least get a lot more subscriptions on their Patreon,
Mm.
which of course, as everybody knows, like, when you're a podcaster, the Patreon is what kind of keeps the lights on and helps you running your free feed.
Yep.
Yeah,
Lights
you
on,
guys know
mics
that.
on, as we say.
Like a what?
Lights on, mics on. Keep
I
the
love
lights on,
that.
keep the mics on.
So when you guys go over onto Patreon or Supercast, you say lights on, mics on.
I said it like twice, and then Katie loved it the second time. I don't think she heard me say it the first time. And then she's like, "That is brilliant. Did you come up with that?" And I thought, that is not brilliant. I can't be the first person to have said that, but I don't know if I've heard people say it before, but I'm sure they have. And she
I
said,
have
"We need to start
never heard
saying
it.
it more." And then we never said it again. So we said it twice, and it's our catchphrase.
Okay. It only takes twice to
Yeah.
make it a catchphrase, as long
Yeah.
as it's more than
Gonna
once.
put it on merch, and then it will be immortalized forever.
Oh my gosh, you totally should. Okay, guys, TM, trademark, date with Dateline. Anyway, that's sort of what's been going on for the last couple of days. That's been it's like heavy in my mind, right? Like, obviously, it's not my fault, and obviously, not arrogant enough to think it has anything to do with me. It's just what they said on my podcast sort of didn't help the situation.
Yeah.
And I'm sad about that because I love them very much. But they'll be back on this podcast, I hope, talking about whatever
Yeah.
show I asked them to talk about. And everybody support them, us, and A Date with Dateline by joining either Patreon or Supercast. Your favorite podcasters.
We
That's how
say
we keep it going.
fireable things all the time, but
Oh,
we
all
don't
the
work for
time.
anybody. So,
That's the problem because I mean, for them that's the problem because
yeah.
when you don't work for you just work for yourself. You can just say what you want and
Mhm.
get yourself canceled. How about that?
Mhm. Yeah, if we get canceled, it's on us.
It's
Yeah.
our own fault. Oh my gosh. Well, is there anything going on there in California that you want to tell me about?
No.
Okay.
I'm
Well, that was
getting my place professionally organized step by step,
I love it.
and it's just life-changing. And soon my place will be so uncluttered that a Frogger could not hide in here without me noticing.
Yeah, I saw that picture that you posted of a Frogger. So they're doing segments over there on Date with Dayline about Froggers, Phroggger. These are people that hide and live in your crawl space, your basements, and your attics.
Mhm. Walls,
Humans,
walls.
humans,
Yeah,
walls.
without you
How
knowing.
how would someone get into your wall? A live human person.
Well, I was just watching this Lifetime movie called Boy in the Wall, and there was, like, a panel that had been removed in a closet,
Uh
and
huh.
then there's a space in people's walls, in between walls in some houses,
Yeah.
where there's insulation and things, and he was
Sure.
you walking through the tunnels, not the tunnels, the maze that is the walls, and living there. Yeah.
But it's like the width of your body, or like a person with a thin body. It would seem. It
He
doesn't
was
seem like it
pretty
would be
thin. I
like.
mean, froggers are not eating a lot. They're only eating what they can steal from your kitchen without you noticing.
This is terrifying. I don't.
It was.
I don't Oh, did you find out more information about the girl who had the Frogger that was an alligator?
No, but then, I saw a TikTok of a real frogger. It's kind of a squatter situation. It's a lady
Mm.
on TikTok. It's gone viral. So many people sent it to me. She said, we woke up this morning because we heard this noise, and I looked out, and I was walking around outside looking, and they have, one of those like low windows towards the ground that
Yeah.
leads to the basement,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
she saw a hand come out of it. And she called the police, and the police came, and there was someone not in their right mind that had been staying in their
A crawl
basement,
space
crawl
or
space
basement?
area, yeah.
And, like, if the
I think
wall,
it
because
happens a
some.
lot. I mean, it happens a lot that there's a name for it in a Lifetime show with at least 1 season so far.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't wanna know anything more about this because
Check
now
your
I'm really
walls,
scared.
check your attic, check your crawl space, because they frog in everybody up in here, and you just have to be careful.
They're frogging everybody up in here. Alright. Put that on a T-shirt. Okay. When will Dateline be back so that we
So
can
end
get
of
n
September.
thank God. Okay, new episodes of Dateline is
Yeah,
what we need.
yeah.
What will be their first episode? Will it be the Long Island serial killer? Will that be the first episode back?
Oh, it could be. I don't know. It could
I
be Lori Vallow's,
mm, yeah,
sentencing. It could
okay.
be I don't know. Nothing much has happened with Alex Murdoch.
Yeah,
I
Brian
hope it's something
Koberger is
brand new. I hope it's not Brian Koberger. I hope it's going something
he's
brand new.
set to go on trial, but in October. But from the stuff I listened to Jodine Weber a lot on Kate Casey's podcast, and she's like, I just can't believe it's actually going to happen in October. Like she would be shocked.
Yeah.
She's a retired FBI agent. She's like, I would be totally shocked if they pulled it together to have it by October.
Yeah, it does seem very fast.
Just seems super fast, but
Yeah.
I mean, pretty obvious he did it.
Yeah.
So, the people on these shows, some of them have left little kids at home. For example, Amanda. She left her two young children to go to Romania for 3 weeks to be with Razvan. Who is watching these kids? I guess it's her sister. Maybe it's her mom. I don't know. But what I hope is that they are using our new sponsor, which is Little Spoon. You guys, do you have little ones in your house? Little Spoon has something for all size baby. They've got little babies all the way up to toddlers. Little Spoon is a one stop shop for healthy, easy meals and snacks for little babies, toddlers, and big kids. And it is delivered right to your door, which is something we all need these days. There are the baby blends, which is obviously baby food. There are biteables, which is like a transition to finger foods, when the kids are going from one thing to the other. Then there's platables, which are toddler and big kid meals. And then there's the smoothies that come in those cute little pouches. So I had some Little Spoon sent to my nephew, James, sweet baby James. He's so adorable. I've got two more babies coming in my family soon, but I digress. Anyway, James agreed to be a taste tester. He's super picky, and his mom told me that he loved the plates. He especially loved the mac and cheese. The mac and cheese has hidden veggies. Don't tell James. And he also loved the strawberry banana shake smoothie. I mean, that sounds good to me, let's be honest. Little Spoon makes everything fresh and uses absolutely nothing artificial. It's just like homemade, all delivered to your door and ready in seconds. Pop your meals in the fridge or the freezer when they arrive and then use them when you're ready. It's that easy. You guys, think about like after school or at that witching hour at like 5:30 and you got to quickly make dinner and you've got screaming toddlers and babies. I've been there, and I really, really wish Little Spoon was a thing during that time of my life. It totally could have helped me. From the baby food all the way to the big plates, it ranges from $3 to $7 a meal. And again, if this was around when I had Anna and John, it would have helped me a lot. I wouldn't have had to like walk around with John and a baby Bjorn while I was trying to make dinner while Anna was like throwing blocks at my head. It just would have been great. So make this year's back to school chaos a little more manageable and time saving, delicious and healthy with meals and snacks your kids will love. You're going to go to littlespoon.com/pink shade. Enter our code, which is pink shade. When you enter that, you're going to get 30% off. Y'all, that's a lot. So Little Spoon, LITTLESPOON.com/pink shade and enter our code pink shade for 30% off at checkout. And let me know if your kids like it. Okay. All right. Let's do 90 days. 90 days before the 90 days, season 6, episode 11, St. Elmo's Fire, having nothing at all to do with St. Elmo or a fire.
Mm.
Will we,
And I was
as
just
we,
saying, like, does
as
it
we,
make me think of Elmo, like Sesame Street? No, nothing. I don't know where there's no fire. There is a fire. They're sitting outside of a fire.
well, this is what I'm trying to think. Like,
Statler and Dempsey are
as we go
sitting on
through, will
fire.
we be like, aha,
Usually, you do get that. Not this
uh-huh,
season with these names.
uh-uh.
No.
They're all 80s movies. So we are going to start with our favorite law firm, Statler and Dempsey.
Why do you give me them? Because I have such trouble remembering which one is which. I had to go through my notes and I had to make at least 4 corrections where I had swapped the names.
Well, when we first sat down to talk, I said, you have Statler and Irving, which is I've done before because Statler is from Irving, Texas. And in my notes, it says Statler Irving. And every time I'm like, yeah,
Who's the partner of Statler on the Muppets? The cranky old man in the balcony. That's Statler because I know everyone made that meme when she first came on the show.
um, yeah, she did shout out our friends Jake and Matt for saying that they had the first one.
Oh,
Muppets, Statler, and
Waldorf.
Waldorf. Yeah.
I
So
love it.
just think of Dempsey as Waldorf.
Okay. That's not gonna help. I need a mnemonic device is what I need. Like, I have one for Katie's cats because 2 of her cats look very similar, and I have a
Ah.
little trick that I have to do. That's embarrassing. So, Statler has set up a scavenger hunt for Valentine's Day on the very gorgeous farm, and Dempsey said it's the most romantic thing anyone's ever done for her. She's, like, 23 years old, so give it time. So
She is 26.
okay, she's 26. It takes her to a rose in the field and
Mhm.
then to a big bin, might be a trash bin, unsure, and she has to, like, wade through and get things, and then it says, "Get dressed in your warm clothes and meet me by the fire." And so at that point, I realized that this scavenger hunt was only 3 stops, and the last stop was the 3rd. So technically 2 spots. 2
Well,
clues does not a
Statler
scavenger hunt make.
I think Statler had gotten, like, a dozen roses, so the first one so then she had 11 left, and Dempsey wasn't happy about those cut roses either. She was like, "We're gonna have to replant these."
This.
It's like, "That's not how that works," but okay.
I love that though. That would be me. If someone gave me flowers, I'd be like, it couldn't have been a plant. I don't now I have to deal with these flowers. We've
Yeah.
discussed this. They just get smelly and gross and then
And now I
you
have
watch
fruit
them
flies.
die and it's
Yeah, and
sad.
then you get those little tiny flies.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it's horrible. So Dempsey is going to the fire and she says, I hope this isn't a proposal. That would be way too soon. Cut to Statler being like, I mean, I'm basically proposing that I'm going to live with her. And so Statler is waiting for her with pomegranate drinks and roses filled with thorns. She literally won't even let Dempsey hold them because they're so covered in thorns. Is that
Not
aren't shouldn't do you take them off? I mean,
It's almost impossible to take them off, but she could have wrapped them in
wrap
something so
yeah.
that yeah. Yeah.
So Statler is chugging her drink because she's nervous and she get because drunkenness always makes it better. And she gives Dempsey a present, which are mushroom earrings made from mushrooms. They are handcrafted by some artist or something. And she says she brought them. She didn't get those in England. She brought them. I don't know why she didn't give her them in exchange for the bug jewelry that Dempsey had gotten her. Instead, she gave her the bug stuff that she would have wanted.
Right. Well, probably at that well, she's probably been planning this. There'll be bug stuff and then the romance will be the mushrooms.
The
This is all
mushrooms.
none of these were gifts that I would want, but
No, but kind
it's
of
not
made
about
for each
me.
other.
Yeah,
Kind of
right.
made I mean, I hate mushrooms with a passion.
Same.
Hate.
Same. Hate.
Um, so she says no one has ever spoiled me like this before, but she does come on a little strong.
Yeah.
Mushrooms, the Valentine's Day scavenger hunt with 2 stops, it's a little strong. So then they start eating s'mores, and Statler does not give an F about trying to eat sexy or romantic. She's like
Mm-mm.
shoving the crumbs of the graham cracker and the marshmallows are all over her face. But I
There's no
think
way to eat them
there's
nicely.
but you cut to Dempsey, who is taking tiny bites and has nothing on her face.
Mm.
I would have it on my shirt. I'm not a face messy eater. I'm a shirt messy eater. It goes
Me
directly on my
too.
shirt. Yeah,
Me too, Kimberly. That's what
yeah,
my husband was always like, "You're a messy eater." I'm
yeah.
like, "I know. What was that about? Why do
I
I always
can't.
have stuff
It's
everywhere?"
always on my. I need a bib. I actually might need a bib. Like,
Yes.
do they make adult bibs that are not for lobster that you
Probably
could
not.
wear in your house?
You
I'm
could
gonna
just
look
get
into it.
a
Amazon.
large size, like a large top. I bet if you look up adult bib, you'll find
Oh,
maybe some disturbing things and then some
maybe
things that
Gino
would
and
be
Jasmine, because I know I would bet my life that they have either practiced that kink or it's coming. I know it.
and then we'll have to hear about it. Don't
Yes.
worry. She'll tell us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Statler says, "Oh, I think I broke a tooth. I broke a tooth on this." And I was concerned for her because if you're breaking a tooth on marshmallows, then you have very weak teeth, and that's you need more calcium or something. That's
Mhm.
concerning.
Yeah.
So she tells Dempsey, "Listen, I want to tell you, like officially, I love you." Because before she had kind of been playing around with it and saying, "Oh, to be
Yeah.
in love." Now she says, "I love you," and Dempsey says, "I also love you." which is the very British way to say it. And they just laugh and say, "That's romantic." They're so awkward. "That's romantic." "That's so romantic." Huh? They don't kiss or anything. It's just giggling, and it's very cute. And then Statler ruins it and says, "So when I go back home, my lease is up in a month." It's all about her lease. She needs to stop saying that because it makes it seem like the only reason she wants to move to England is because she doesn't want the trouble of finding a new apartment. And I get it. Finding an apartment sucks.
But
Jeff
like
Goldblum has those commercials to help you, though.
she's gonna fly. That must be a California thing.
He's not on apartments.com where you are.
I haven't seen it,
Oh,
but I don't. Maybe I just don't watch a lot of live TV. I don't know.
that would be it.
Um, yeah, she keeps saying it. This is not an insurmountable problem. I mean, she can rent another place for 2 weeks, but what's going to happen is Dempsey's suggestion is what I said last week. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's brilliant.
yeah,
So she says, My lease is up in a month and I don't plan on renewing it. So I think the next step is moving here and in with you." And I was screaming, "Just shove that s'more in your mouth, glue your mouth shut with marshmallow and stop talking." Because Dempsey's face says it all. Dempsey's face is like, it's like someone just said, "I want to wear your skin." It's like you've gone too far.
uh
And
huh,
so Dempsey says, "I think that would be too fast." Look, I've rushed in the past. She is very sweet to not say, "We all know that you've rushed in the past,"
uh huh,
and scared away the other British lady. But she says,
yeah,
"I've also, went too fast and it hasn't worked out. Why don't you get your own place down the road or something, and then we'll see how it goes in 6 months or something," which is Mary Payne's suggestion. It's a very good suggestion. It's also the one they are pondering with the blonde Norwegian lady on the other 90 Day,
right.
but she does not like that suggestion.
No,
But
she does not.
Dempsey is immediately turned off. Why? What's the point? Why would I do that? Why would I move to another country and not move in? And
Statler.
sorry, Statler says
Yeah.
that. And Dempsey says, "Well, do you really feel like we know each other well enough? I mean, literally 2 days ago, I found out that you cheated on me, which I didn't know before.
No, no, no.
And
She didn't cheat on her.
sorry,
She
that you
just cheated
cheated
in
on
general.
other people. Sorry,
Yeah.
that you had cheated in the past." And
Yes.
then I just introduced you to my dad, and he didn't really like you.
Mm.
And so, do we really know each other that much? I mean, I don't really even know what happened with your ex. Like, have you talked to her? How did that get resolved? And Statler says, "Yeah, I talked to her like a month ago." And Dempsey says, "What? Why did you just talk to her? Did you tell her you were coming here? Were you going to see her when you came here?" And Statler says, "Well, yeah, I told her I was coming here, and she asked if she could pick me up at the airport and stay in a hotel together and get closure."
Mm.
Shove marshmallows in your mouth. Do Chubby Bunny right now because you are digging yourself so far into a hole. Why are you telling her all this? I didn't even know that part. I thought the ex just wanted to see her. I don't remember staying in a hotel and getting closure, which means
That's
having sex. This is
brand new information.
this is shocking. And so
Mhm.
Dempsey gets very upset, rightfully so, and says, "See, so you want to move in with me. And like, I'm just finding out that you're still talking to your ex."
Yeah.
She says, "I feel sick." And it's not from the s'mores that are rubbed all over your face. It is from this conversation. And she says, "I don't even know what to do now because I don't even know if I can trust her at this point. I just keep feeling like I'm finding out new information that is disheartening, and maybe my dad was
Problematic.
right.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
so this is not good. It's basically the saddest scavenger hunt with the saddest ending ever.
Yeah, I'd like to say there were 3 stops on the scavenger hunt.
I don't know if I
Number
count the final stop as the third stop. And the third
well,
stop is Breakup Town because that's really where that third stop was.
yeah, yeah, it was just like she coulda just said, "Yeah, I did talk to her, like, a month ago and told her I was coming, and she did wanna meet me at the airport," and I told her, "No, that we're
That's
not
all she had
talking,"
to say. Yeah.
she didn't have to go into the "and this, and this, and this,"
Mhm.
just that's all. You
She's
know,
a
why
self-sabotager for sure.
self-sabotage.
Yeah. A
Okay,
self-saboteur.
self-saboteur?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, that was French. So, Jasmine and Gino. So we open up and remember, they're on a trip to Bouquet, and they are doing a class. And the lady says, "This class is things to do with corn." Today we will start with empanadas. So they make empanadas and they're having fun
It was
together.
just like day one, popping. And it was just popcorn. That's what I mean.
Day one, you shuck the corn. So looks like they're having fun together. So then they go and they're doing some hiking or walking or something in nature that it involves going to this waterfall.
Mhm.
And he says, "I really feel like we're making progress on this trip to Bouquet. So I gotta talk to Jasmine about moving to Michigan to be with my family. We got to resolve these issues." So he says, "Hey, Jazz, since we didn't get to talk to Dana before, maybe we should give him a call today."
I don't like
And
jazz.
Jazzy Jazz.
I don't like that.
And he says, "Jasmine, let's find some rocks and have a squat and call, okay?" Did you notice that? He said rocks and squat.
I did. I thought he was gonna say papa squat, but he just says have a squat or take a
Have a
squat.
squat.
Yeah.
And so they get Dana on the phone. He goes, "Where are you there, Gino? What's going on there? Where are you there, Gino?" And he goes, "Hey, I'm in Panama." He goes, "Yo, they're in southern Panama?" He's like, "No, Dana, I'm in western Panama." It was hilarious.
Oh my god, so cute. That's just all Gino's relatives just talk
Yeah.
about. Like,
Yeah.
oh, they just talk about maps. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is above this state. Oh, and then you
Yeah.
go here, and that's a province and a municipality. And then I seen this town when I was driving through looking for the biggest ball of yarn in America.
Ah, oh my God. So Jasmine is smiling and trying to act nice. Like she's like frozen face, like at the big smile. And she's like, "Hi." And he says, "Well, I think Jasmine just wants to talk to you, about that comment that you made." And Dana says, "Look, here's the thing, Jasmine. I don't know you that well. And at that moment when I sent that comment, I had my doubts, okay? But it was just a few words. Like I saw some things on the internet about your face and your hair treatments, and it seems like you're getting these benefits and living your best life. And so I was wondering if it's real. Do you love Gino?" And she just sits there and looks at him like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Ask him why he put Gino in quotes, because that's the only thing that
That's
this
the only thing we
call
need to
should have
know.
been about.
That's
Why
all
did
we
you
need to
put
know.
the word Gino in quotes?
So she goes, "Hi, Dana. Listen, I'm not trying to be rude, but the only person I have to prove my love to is Gino." And he says, "Yeah, they're Jasmine, but you have all these arguments and things, and is that love?" And she says, "Hi, Dana. Listen, you know, Gino is a grown ass man who doesn't need a babysitter, and anything he's giving me is from his heart, okay? And the only person I have to prove my love to is Gino." So,
This is how she
did you?
talks to her students when she's really mad at them, when
Oh
she was a
God.
teacher.
But did you notice that when Jasmine was talking to Dana in the camera, that Gino kept looking straight up at the camera? Like, uh-oh. Oh my
Gino is
gosh.
like a deer in headlights. He's just terrified.
And then
He's
she
gonna wet
continues,
his
and
pants anytime there's any interaction between her and the relatives.
you think the what should happen?
He's gonna wet his pants anytime
Oh.
there is he needs to wear a diaper at the wedding, because
Well,
anytime his relatives interact, and not a baby kind of diaper.
I was about to say, he likes that, remember? Remember? Um, and then Jasmine continues, goes, "It's not like he's an innocent baby and I'm a bad bitch, okay?"
We
And
role
Dana
play
says,
that all the time.
"Well, yeah, okay." So Dana says, "Yeah, it's just a few words. Didn't mean anything. Didn't mean anything, Jasmine." And our talking head, she goes like, "I don't think Dana is sincere. He thinks I'm an opportunist and gold digger." And then Jasmine, Gino's like, "Okay, well, it's time to go. So it's great to see you. Or goodbye from Western Panama." And Gino goes, "Bye, Dana. Bye. Great to talk to you, Dana. Bye." And they like hang up, and the phone like hangs up really quick. And she's like, "Oh, whoops. Anyway." So um, Gino tells the producer, like, "I really do want Jasmine to get along with my family. I would hate to ever have to come to this situation where I have to choose between the two of them." And so now they're walking and talking,
But
and
can I just say, if I think Jasmine is looking at this totally wrong. If I were hearing this from Dana, I would be like, what he's technically saying is, I am so young and beautiful that there's no way I could be with his doofus cousin if it weren't
mhm.
for the money. So I would be flattered if someone was calling me a sugar baby. I'd be like, with this belly fat, you think I'm a sugar baby? Thank you. I love you.
Oh my god. So they're walking and talking, and, in his talking head, he goes, "Yeah, I felt it was good that Jasmine didn't blow up and she stayed pretty calm, and, now that things are really good for us on this trip, now's a good time to talk to her. Talk to her when things are good, not when things are bad." So they go back to the waterfall, and for some reason, she hangs her purse on a tree,
Oh my God.
um,
Honestly, the
and
purse that she jogs with. Remember, she jogs with the purse. It's always in inopportune times she has that purse.
she's like an old lady with her pocketbook,
Yes,
right? It's like no
with
matter where they
Werther's
go, they're
in it, yeah.
carrying that around. So he says, "Listen, Jasmine," and he fumbles a lot, but he's like, "Listen, I just wanted to talk to you, and maybe there's this thing that I'm hoping that maybe you can try harder and work on this thing. So like for example, like there were some times when you maybe said some things that were bad or not so nice about my family, and that maybe like you didn't want them to be so involved in my life. And so anyway, like I was just wondering if you could maybe think about this
Oh
because
my god, get
I've
to the point, Gina.
he just oh my god, he's like, "They're a part of my life, and that'll never change, and I want you to have a positive attitude towards them, okay, Jasmine?" She's just staring daggers into him, and she says, "Well, Gino, I'm working on my anxiety and my anger issues, and I feel bad because I'm thinking like, what would you do if they hate me, Gino? Would you defend me, Gino?" And he goes, "Well, if okay, listen, I would just try to talk to them and try to work it out and see what happened and who said what." And she's like, "Okay, And he
Just
goes,
say
"No,
yes.
listen."
Just say yes.
He's like, "Don't worry about it. That's not going to happen." And then she says, "I am scared of losing you to your family, that they won't like me." And then she says the truest thing she's ever said.
Yes.
"I know I'm unstable emotionally and I am so rude
I
and
wrote,
I
that's the most
can't
honest she's ever been.
and I cannot manage my stupid anxiety." And then she says, "You're the only man on earth, Gino, that has ever managed to keep up with my shit."
What about
And
Dane? Dane seems to have no problem with you whatsoever.
yeah, we did have a monkey reached out that had matched with him like on Tinder or
I
something.
know.
Dane.
I need
Yeah.
more details about that.
Yeah.
That's a good match.
That was a good. Yeah, I was like, go for it. Um, so he says, let's see. It says he says, "I just want you to be excited to meet my family and don't threaten me. Just work on it. Just work on these anger issues." And she goes, "Okay." And he says, "I really want to thank you for being honest," which was great. She needs positive reinforcement.
Yes.
And she just says she knows that she does this. She knows she gets angry and lashes out and she tries to hurt someone more than they have hurt her.
Mhm.
And she knows she does it and she's trying to break the cycle and stop sabotaging her relationships. It's growth.
I thought this was a huge breakthrough. And I think that therapist that they met with once needs to put before and after clips of Jasmine on her
Yeah.
Yelp page because
Yeah.
that is a glowing endorsement.
I agree. I agree. Now, I don't always believe everything on this show. So I don't believe that she has had this massive change of heart this quickly. I think that
Right.
something else happened we don't know about, but that's okay.
But they are
We
being
only,
very, very nice to each other now.
they are. We can only recap what we're given.
Suspiciously nice.
Right. For 3 weeks ago, it was like, you
Like, I'm
screaming.
almost not scared she's going to push him and make his head hit one of those rocks and kill him.
Not until she gets that prenup,
Yeah.
girl. No, 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 no. All right, let's move on to David and Sheila and Amy and Jupiter.
So, he's shaving, and we get that silence sound effect again. Once of 4 times we get it in this episode.
Yeah.
4 times. We get it. The man cannot hear. Stop doing that sound effect. it's been a few days since her mother's funeral, and she thinks he looks so handsome with his shaved face. They're talking, and the translator, Amy, is back to help. Sheila seems to be doing better with her jealousy, and I was thinking maybe they'll become friends. I think that she could use a friend that she can trust, that she doesn't think is trying to steal her man.
Also, maybe Amy can give her sign language lessons.
Exactly.
Yes.
Sheila says she's having trouble moving on since her mom died like 3 days ago. So that's
Oh,
understandable.
yeah.
And that it was so traumatic and finding her and all of that. And she's crying, and David's trying to comfort her. And so is the translator. The translator is breaking the translator barrier, whatever, and patting her on the shoulder. And it was very sweet. And Sheila is going to try to put aside her grief and focus on David since they don't have much time on this trip. But really, what she's going to focus on is fixing the house, which is totally understandable. So the three
Right.
go to the house to meet with a contractor, Jupiter. And she really wants to fix the house up more than ever now since her mom fell. And she, on the ride there, she asks through the translator how much, she doesn't know anything about David's finances. Like, how much could he afford to help with renovations? What's his salary? And the translator just goes, "How much do you make?" So the translator skips all the pre questions and goes right to the outright question, which David's a little surprised by because that's not a very American thing. That might be a cultural thing to just ask someone how much they make.
Yeah, maybe
And
so.
and the translator again is only asking the last question out of the like three questions. So he says between the casino and the supermarket, 800 a month. I'm sorry, 800 a week.
I was about to say, whoo. Yeah,
Wow,
okay.
800 a week. And Sheila says, "Oh, wow, that's a lot." And we see her smile for the first time since her mom died. And it's very sweet. And she's like, "You're rich. Wow." She thinks
Yeah.
that you could buy a condo for that here. That's
Yeah.
crazy. She didn't know. And she thinks, he's thinking, "Oh, I saw her face light up. She thinks I'm rich because I'm getting by in America. I
Right.
don't have a lot. I am happy to help her, but I think she thinks I'm rich, and this is a huge problem." And this is where he should have explained to her taxes. Like, he makes 800. How much is he actually taking home? How much are
Right.
his expenses every week?
Right.
Like, he's breaking even. If he had any savings, he probably used them to fly there, and
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
probably barely getting by.
Yeah.
So they go to meet Jupiter, the contractor, and again they do the silence thing. And
Mhm.
Jupiter takes them through the whole house. First of all, he finds out David's American and his eyes light up. He is grinning from ear to ear. He's like, "American. I suddenly want to fix up everything in this house."
I heard you have $800 a week. Yeah.
A little birdie told me that you ate that's exactly what it's going to cost to fix
Yeah.
up this house.
Right.
So he takes them through the house, which was is by all accounts rotted. Like, the wood is completely rotted and there's no roof in parts of it. There's no walls in parts of it. They could
Yeah.
not have a Frogger because they have no walls for someone to hide in even.
No.
It's
Mm-mm.
it's is in shambles. And so Jupiter is saying Sheila is so lucky that she can get this fixed. We can fix up everything now. He's seeing dollar signs in David's eyes. And so for everything to fix up the house, including labor, it's only going to be like $1,700. That's in American dollars.
Right.
That's it. And David says, "Oh my gosh, that's really expensive."
Well, I mean, if you think this guy makes uh, $3,200 a month, okay,
Yeah.
that is about half of what he makes in a month.
To fix up a whole house.
I understand, but I think he just, I think he probably lives month to month. I don't think he probably has a lot of savings for this.
Yeah, I totally understand that, but also how much does he think this would cost in America?
Oh,
$1,700 to fix up. I will give her the money. Like, I will start a GoFundMe right now, but like, let's do it. I think he could set up a little bucket at the grocery store and people would put in money. This
for
poor
sure.
girl has no walls, and her mom fell on a ladder and died.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
please, let's help her. And also, why is TLC not helping? They aired this poor girl's dead mother's funeral
Oh
and
my God.
exploited it for television.
Right.
give her some money. Also,
Her
if
next paycheck should be exactly $1,700.
if all of those cameramen are all burly and carrying around big camera equipment, and they're the ones who made that stairs weakened, like people think, then they really owe her money to fix up that house.
Let's just
They
hope that when we
basically
get
killed
to
her mom.
okay, stop. When we get to the end of this, let's hope that the answer will be that it got fixed. Okay?
If I see a GoFundMe, I am gonna donate.
Me
Just
too.
like that lovely lady on, Match Me Abroad.
Donated to that one. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So David says, "We need to talk in private," which means I still want the translator there. Private is the 3 of us. It's our new throuple. We just don't want Jupiter there.
We know Jupiter doesn't need to hear what's going on.
No.
He's got dollar signs. Yeah.
Yeah. So they go to this little bar with pool tables, and we get the silent thing again. So it's been 4 times now. And there are lots of young girls at the bar, and he's kind of looking around, just kind of curiously at all the people in the bar. And Sheila holds herself together. She doesn't flip the bar stool or anything. She says, "What do you think of this bar? Lots of girls around, right?" And David says, "I'm just looking at their faces. I'm not looking at their up and down or anything like that. I only have eyes for you." And they say, "Let's move on and talk about money. That's better than talking about girls."
It's better than talking about your jealousy. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the funniest thing is that their talking head is now the 3 of them. It is the translator, Sheila in the middle, and then no, David in the middle, and then Sheila. And the translator has gotten a great blowout.
How did I
And
not see that? I saw one of their like hero shots where are you talking about
not
like
the
the
hero
this
shot.
okay.
They're like talking head where they're sitting on a
Yes.
couch talking.
I
And
did see that. Yeah,
the
okay.
translator, her hair is all like blown out straight and luscious, and
Yeah.
she's wearing like a bright turquoise color. And Sheila probably is very jealous because the translator definitely got made up for this interview.
Yes.
Yeah.
She went to Sephora and got her makeup done.
Yeah.
Do they have
So
that there? Sorry.
I don't know if they do. So they decide to talk about the money. And she asks how he's going to pay for the house repairs. And he says, "Well, I can't pay all of it. I'm not rich. I don't have the money to pay for all of it." And she says, "I'm just so embarrassed to ask for help because he's already helped me, and I know it's a lot of money, and it's just I don't have a job right now, and he has 2 jobs, and she had a job before COVID, but she can't find work now." And the translator just kind of says, "Well, it's hard because she can't work now and she's shy." Like, I'm starting to think the translator is not very good at her job because there is a lot of emotion behind the being so embarrassed. Like, I truly believe Sheila is not after David for his money and
Agree.
is I mean, she wants to get her house fixed up and a better life for her son, but I don't think she's like money hungry or anything. And the translator just like, "She's shy and she can't work, so it's on you. Money. Give me money." She's like a Lose mom. And like,
Oh.
you gotta do some of like translate some of the emotion behind it. So he says, "Okay, what if I sent you money? Could that help you find a job?"
Mhm.
I don't quite know what she did before, but
She sold cotton candy.
oh, right, she's so good. Oh
Yeah,
my, and then after COVID, the people just stopped needing cotton candy.
that's right. It's
Yeah.
too frivolous. Yeah.
Yeah. So he says, and then I was thinking, like, so he can't give her all the money up front. There's no one in his life that could give him money. I understand times are tough, and probably everyone he knows is living paycheck to paycheck. But I just have to believe something has to be done because she needs walls now. She needs a roof now. This cannot be like a year-long process.
What if he went back to Jupiter and said, "I have $1,000 and that's
Right.
all I can afford. What are the most important things you can fix for $1,000?
Right.
I'll give you $1,000 right now." And
Yeah.
maybe Jupiter would be like, "Okay, I'll do it all."
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm. So she says, "It's okay if she gets really embarrassed. It's okay. If he can't afford it, just let it go. It's fine. It's fine." And he
Yeah.
says, "Why does she seem upset?" And she says, "Well, I'm just worried now that you think I'm after your money, and that's what I
Yeah.
want you for. And is that what you think about me?" And he pauses for like 30 seconds, like the Jeopardy music was playing. He has like his hand on his chin, like, hmm, do I think, no, I don't think you're after my money. And Sheila is like, you had to think about it for a long time. And he says, no, I know I don't think that. And she says, I need you to know I'm not after your money.
Yeah.
Definitively not after the money. And then she tells us, I'm definitely not after his money, but now that I'm realizing that he doesn't have the money that I thought he did to at least fix the house and support my son and I in the future, I am more worried about the future because she did kind of have some visions of what could happen. And she said, I saw my mom die poor and I just want better for myself and my son. So
Yeah.
that's all. And now I'm realizing that that's not a reality.
Well, I think if she moves there with him after the 3 months or whatever, she would be able to get a job and contribute to the house, and
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I think he lives a pretty, um, modest life, but,
Right, but it would
yeah.
still be much better than what she had and what her son has
Yes.
now. They would have plumbing and they would have,
Yes.
shelter from the weather and, they'd
Yeah,
have a lot more.
totally, totally.
I'm still rooting for them,
Me
and
too!
I don't think she's money hungry.
I agree. I agree. I do not get that vibe from her at all. Um, alright, now let's go on to Christian and Cleo.
Oh god,
Okay.
the
So
rage. He
now
looks like
we
the Frogger that we just had. This Frogger
Christian,
was going bald and had this intense comb over because of
I
his
saw.
and he wasn't just embracing it. Did you see the picture of the
I saw
Frogger?
the picture you
Yeah.
posted it, yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah.
I was scared because he looked, like, all hunched over like a frog. Uh, oh my god, you guys. Okay.
Poor guy.
So, Cleo's in the cab with her friend Jane, and then we see him, Christian, talking to the producers. He was like, "I don't know, man, like, she called me and was, like, really mad at me, and she called me a manipulator and a gaslighter and said I was, like, a psychopath," to which I wrote, "LOL." Um,
I
and
was
the
like, "Facts. Check. Check.
okay,
Check."
so what's wrong?
He's very
So
astute.
So he says, I just feel this is a small situation that's been blown out of proportion. And I'm not in a relationship with the person so that I can feel anxious all the time and like worried all the time.
I just wanna have fun and go out drinking. Did I tell you guys how much I like to drink? Remember
I
when
like
I
to
was on
go,
the plane and I chatted up those underage girls? I made them feel really uncomfortable because I was totally wasted.
and also because I never make the first move. Um, so she tells Christian, I'm home with my friend Jane. So he comes down and meets Jane. Does he call her Jan?
I thought he said something else at one point.
Like
I did.
June?
Yeah, I heard something else. I
Yeah.
for sure, and I looked at the subtitles, it still said Jane, but I was confused. I thought
I
he
don't think,
called her the
didn't
wrong name, and I thought,
totally know what her name was.
no.
Yeah.
But I do that all the time. Do you ever shake someone's hand and you introduce and then you 5 seconds later, it's like you weren't even listening to their name
Yes. That happens to me all the
all
time.
the time.
When I go places with my husband, he'll go, "You'll remember so and so and so and so. You met them on that trip. They've been on that trip that we go on through the last 4 years. We've sat with them at dinner, remember?" And I'm like, "Nope,
Nope.
no memory." He's like, "They're the ones that have like the 2 little kids, the little boy. Remember we talked about the Boy Scouts and then the little girl. Remember she was in the pool." I'm like, "Doesn't ring a bell. None of it. So sorry." So he comes down and it looks like she's making them some tea, and then she says to him, Cleo says to Christian, "Last night we were intimate and you lied, and I'm struggling to understand where you stand." And he goes, "Listen, I just wanted to double check with you to see what you would say and to be sure that you were comfortable with saying everything." And she goes, "I've always told you I'm open with this and there's no reason for you to check with me." And he goes, "I was trying to avoid this situation right here." And she goes, "You created this situation." And he goes, "Well, I didn't lie. I mean, not in my mind." And they just look at him and he goes, "I feel grouped up on." I feel grouped up on,
Oh
which
my
by the way
god.
is not a phrase.
No, it's not a phrase.
No. Eh,
Also, no one's like Jane, poor Jane has not said a word.
not a word. Never speaks.
And he's like,
And
"You're both just chiming in."
I was like,
Cut to Jane, who's like, "I've said nothing."
not said a word. So he goes, "Hey, June, can you leave the room?" So then we get Jane outside, and she says he's just trying to save his face, which I loved. He's trying to save his face,
We're
and that's what
grouping up, and he's saving his face.
he's saving his face, and he's very defensive, and maybe he's just not equipped to date a trans woman. So then he says, which Jane is sitting right there listening through the door, which I love. I love that.
Totally.
And he says, okay, to Cleo, here are my side of things, okay? Like, I was trying to double check with you before I said anything that made you uncomfortable. And then you called me a psychopath. And she goes, no, I just said this was psychopathic behavior to have two different personalities.
Okay, Cleo, girl, I love you so much, but now that's semantics.
Right. Right. Well, yeah. And he goes, listen, I can't be in a
That's
relationship
like
one
if
who like
someone goes,
calls
"You're
me.
lying," and then someone's like, "You just called me a liar." I didn't. I said you were lying. It's like if
Right.
you go, "You just called me a bitch." No, I said you were acting bitchy.
Acting like a bitch. That's
Yeah, that's
right.
not the same thing. It's
Um,
kind of the same thing though.
yeah. He says, I can't be in a relationship with someone who calls me these things. Like you called me a gaslighter and a manipulator and a psychopath. And, and she goes, well, it just seems to me like you're very concerned with saying that we were intimate because you care about what the world thinks. He's like, I don't care at all about what society thinks. And okay, I did let what my family thinks influence me for like one brief moment. But, I'm very upset right now. I'm very upset. And I have never, ever felt bad about being transparent about our intimacy. And she goes, okay, so we're just going to go round and round. And I don't think you're hearing me that I said, I'm willing to like give you the benefit of the doubt. He goes, oh, I heard you. I heard you. But this was rough for me today. I had a really rough day. It was really rough on me.
And then he goes, and you too, I'm sure.
And I'm sure it was hard for you too, I'm sure, since you were the one I was lying about, I'm sure. And he goes, but I feel like this could be good for our relationship and our communication. Like, I feel like this could make us stronger in our relationship. And then she says, well, I would like to believe that. And I hope you're sincere. And he goes, yeah, I just feel like right now I want to give you a hug. So she's like, okay. I was like,
I hated this whole thing. I did
I
not
did
like
too.
this. I
I didn't.
honestly
And
did
I
not
feel
give
like
you
she
a hug
still
right
doesn't
now.
believe him. She
No,
doesn't believe
not at
him.
all. No. But I am so confused. I really want to know more about how this conversation came about. Like, I still think he's super shady, but
Yeah.
how was it approached? Was it like he was just checking, or when the timeline did that happen? Did that happen after he had talked to the producers and said nothing happened, or was it before?
Right. That's a good question. So, like, he had talked to producers and he called her up to be like, hey, here's what I said. I want to make sure
Right.
you say the same thing.
Right, and then apparently she said, "I told you I was totally fine being really open about it." So they had
Yeah.
already discussed it, and then he only heard what he wanted to hear and was like, "I just wasn't sure if you were still comfortable, so I just wanted to
Yeah.
check."
Why would she not be comfortable?
Yeah,
I mean, so, in her talking head, she's like, I'm still very confused because I'm still not sure if he is comfortable dating a trans woman. But I think I'm just going to try to keep the peace and I'm really invested and I don't want to
mhm,
like rock the boat. And so, which we've all been there. And so
mhm.
Jan comes back in and he goes, hey, June, I'd like to get a refresher and let's just find a time to sit together and like have a pint and just start anew. And of course, she's
I
looking
love
at
to
him
drink.
like,
Did I tell you I love to drink? I'm just a
I
fun
mean,
guy who loves to drink.
she looked at him like, are you trying to mock my British accent? Because it
Right,
didn't work.
it didn't
Yeah.
work. Also,
Yeah.
poor Jane came all this way to sit on a stairwell and eavesdrop.
And
She got
eavesdrop.
2 sips of tea, and
Yeah.
that was it. Bye, Jane.
S- So Cleo walks Jane out and is like, I'm so sorry you had to come all this way and all this. And then the producers talk to Jane outside. And she goes, it sounded like I didn't like the way he was speaking to her. And it sounded like to me that being right was the most important thing. And I
Yeah.
didn't like it at all.
Yeah. He had lost his temper, and it was a little weird and creepy.
It was very gaslighty. It
Yeah,
was very like, I don't know what you're talking about. I never
right.
said that. It
Mhm.
was, yeah. Hmm. All right, let's move on to Tyray and the real Carmella.
Tyray slash phone slash Carmella slash Christian
Mhm.
slash his sisters.
Mhm.
So
Right.
he's so excited. He's at the pub meeting the real Carmella. Again, she's not the real Carmella. The real Carmella is Christian. I
Mhm.
don't know how many times I have to tell you this, Tyray. So he says, even though it's not the face I've been or even though it's not the face I've been talking to, it's the face I love. Like he's still super confused.
The more he talks, the more confused I get, and I
I
thought I
didn't-
had it pretty straight in my
yeah,
mind, but the
I
more
know.
he talks, the more I'm confused. Yeah.
So then she shows up, and I was shocked. I really thought he was getting stood up.
Yeah.
And it's that lady from the pictures. So she walks in and it's so awkward. And she says, Wait, let me put my glasses on. And then she puts her glasses on so she can say hi to him and greet him. Then she says, "No, I can take them off now." And then she takes off. Like, is she super nearsighted and she can only see his face with the glasses on? But then
I
once
don't
they
know.
sit down, she can take her glass. She wants to not have the glasses on camera, is what I think is happening. 'Cause she
Oh,
wants to
okay.
look cute on camera.
Okay, well, number 1, get some contacts, and number 2, don't put your glasses on just to get a look at him and then be like, "Well, now I'm
Now
taking
I'm
them
taking
off."
them off.
Yeah.
I've seen what I need to see here.
Yeah.
So he's giggling like a maniac, like
Crazy.
crazy giggling. He's like Pillsbury Doughboy, like his whole body is shaking up and down.
He can't quit
That is not
laughing.
a body cut shaming comment, by the way. It's like literally like his whole body is shaking. I don't know
Well,
if it's
because
Elmo.
Amanda does it too. Yeah.
He yes. He's like Elmo when that doll where it starts
Like,
laughing and the whole body and then it falls
"Hee."
off the couch.
Yeah.
So he says this whole thing is a mind F. And she looks even better than the photos that I was in love with for 4 years. But it's not her. It's not her. I have to keep reminding myself it's not her. I swear he's telling himself like, don't propose. Don't propose. Because I think he's just like I'm scared he will just blurt out, "Will you marry me?
I'm
You're
scared he's
so
gonna blurt
pretty."
out, "You're the girl that I love. You're the girl of my dreams. Will you please come home with me? I have a plane ticket for you." Yeah.
So he explains to her the situation, how he met this girl on a dating app. The girl came on to him really strong, which we are finding out now. And he says, and I thought it was weird because girls don't come on to me. And Carmella goes, uh-huh.
But also, we've thought this whole time all their communication has been on Snapchat. Does Snapchat have a dating app?
No.
Okay.
Does
Just
it?
making I mean, did they meet on a dating app and then they took it to the Snapchat?
Yeah,
Because they've
I
been
don't
talking on
know.
Snapchat, so
This
I don't
is
know.
fishy here. This would not be the first time TLC has changed the story.
Well, it could just be also what you and I don't know about Snapchat's
That's
dating app,
also
but
possible.
it's been 4 or 5 years, so,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Okay.
So yeah, maybe they started on a dating chat at and then switched over to Snapchat.
Yeah.
Since Snapchat you can talk to internationally, and
Mm.
she lives in Barbados,
Or
right?
Denver,
Or Denver.
whatever. Right.
So the girl came on to him. He thought that was weird because that doesn't usually happen, which is sad. And then he said, "Well, she told me she lived in Barbados and wanted to model." And we really started, opening up to each other and developed this really deep connection over 4 years. And then I found out she was a man named Christian. And and he's intimidated about dating a transgender woman and is going bald and might be a frogger. Oh no, wait, that's a different Christian. This Christian, I still don't know. I'm trying to find out. So she seems to feel very badly about the situation. I mean,
Yeah.
Tyray is like pouring his heart out and giggling uncontrollably, and it's just you can't help but feel bad for him. So
She seems very normal and sweet.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
and so but she doesn't really say much. She just says, "Aw," like she makes like a "Aw," but
She's
that's
like, "This is
it.
so" yeah. Can you imagine these producers called her and was
Yeah,
like, "Hey, guess what? You're a storyline on a show." And she's like, "Say what now?"
yeah.
Yeah.
So he says, "Why isn't she saying anything? Is it because she's guilty? Is she involved in this scheme?"
Mhm.
And she's just not saying anything because it's a horribly awkward situation to be in. So he says, "I just have to ask, you don't have anything to do with this, do you? You don't know anyone named Christian from Barbados. Do we still even know that Christian is really from Barbados?
Exactly.
Was that ever
Exactly.
proved by the PI? I can't even remember at this point.
Yeah.
So do you know someone from Barbados? And then we go to commercial. She's like,
Dun, dun,
commercial.
dun.
So she comes back from commercial and says, "No, I don't know these people. And I'm really glad you told me because it's freaky that people are stealing my identity. So I'm glad you let me know." And
Mhm.
he's like, "Yes, she's not involved. I can fully fall in love with her now. Marry me." And he says, "I'm just trying to get closure, and that's why I'm here." And I was thinking, why couldn't they have video chatted? Why did he have to fly to Colorado with his sisters?
Mhm.
Because the show wanted him to, I guess. So he says, "I was stuck, but hearing from you that you're not involved in it makes me realize that it's just this big scam and it could be who knows who's involved with it. And I just need
Yeah.
to let it go." And she says, "I hope I didn't burst your fantasy." And he says, "No, it's not fantasy now. It's reality. And I love you. Come home with me, pretty lady." He doesn't say any of that last part. He just says, "It's reality." And the producers do pull her aside and say, "Why did you come here?" And she wisely doesn't say to be on TV. She says, "It's complicated. First, I thought, no way. I don't know this guy. This is weird. No way." Which is good. That made me think she was a real person because that
Yeah.
is what a normal person would feel like.
Yeah.
And then I thought about it more. He fell in love with these pictures of someone who's pretending to be me. I just have a lot of mixed feelings about it, but basically he seems like a good guy and I just feel really sorry for him. And
Yeah.
he's thinking like sorry enough to give me a smooch or more.
Give me a smooch.
Uh,
Uh,
Tyray's not going to be like, "Hey, F me." He's going to be like, "Could I have a kiss on the cheek?" That's
I
his game.
know.
He
Yeah.
plays like teddy bear, like, "Just give me a kiss on the cheek."
Yeah.
So he tells her he's sad because it's kind of the end of a chapter, but he just needs to block and delete this Christian person and move on. And
Mhm.
she gives great advice that could go to anyone on 90 days, which is don't stick around to find out how red the flags can get. And he says, "Well, that's why I wear these glasses because I ignore the red flags."
Yeah.
And at
It
least
was it
realizing it.
it was a joke that didn't land, I think.
No, but he tried.
Yeah.
And she says, "Don't let it prevent you from trying again because you deserve love." And
Oh.
he's like, "With me? With you? And me?" Um, so he gives her the candle that he bought for her, and she loves it. And he says to us, "It's definitely feeling like we're vibing, and that's confusing." And I threw
Mm.
something at the TV. "Tyray, she's not vibing with you. She just told us she feels sorry for you. This is why your sisters need to be there. Your sisters need to be at a neighboring table with a Secret Service earpiece in so they can whisk you away before you embarrass yourself."
Yeah. Yeah, he held it together, but he was close there a couple of times of
He was close. He was
yeah.
thinking, she's feeling me."
Yeah.
So then he goes, "So are you in a relationship?" And I was like, "No, stop.
Stop.
Shove the marshmallows in your mouth."
Oh,
So
stop.
she says, "No, I'm just single, living my life. If I meet someone, whatever, but I'm just going with the flow." And he says, "So would you want to like stay in touch and be friends? I wouldn't do anything weird." And then he giggles, which is exactly what you want someone to do after they say they're not going to be weird.
I wouldn't do anything weird like talk to you for 4 years after never seeing your picture or a video chat and just send you $100 every month. I wouldn't do anything weird like that.
Have you seen Silence of the Lambs? That is an example of something weird that I would not do.
I would not put you in my basement. No.
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 So she laughs and she says, "I trust you. I believe you." And which is how he got in this mess. So just no
Right.
one trusts anybody. So he says, "I want to come back to Denver." And she's really encouraging him. And I'm like, is she
Yeah.
feeling him or is she still just trying to be nice? Is
Because
this
she's
just,
like, "I'd love to see you in California." So
yeah, maybe,
maybe she's digging him.
or maybe she wants to be on the show more. She
Okay,
wants,
exactly. Yep.
so she says, "Yeah, it's beautiful here when it's not snowing." And he says, "Yeah, like, would you want to travel together?" What? You just,
No.
you just met this woman. You're asking her to travel with you.
Too fast. Too fast.
And then he says, "Or you could visit me in California." And she says, "Oh, yeah, that'd be fun." So She does. Yeah, she. I was confused as well. She is sending a little bit of mixed signals because she is
Yeah.
being very encouraging. Not that he could read the signs if she was being obvious. So
Obviously, no.
he says, I'm really glad I came. I may never get closure, but this whole thing made me stronger. And then he walks her to her car, and I was like, don't try to kiss her, Tyray. Please, dear God, don't try to kiss
Yeah.
her. And I was so scared. I was like watching a horror movie, like waiting for a jump scare. That's what I
Yeah.
was like, pins and needles. Like, please don't ruin this and embarrass yourself. But they just hug, and
She initiated it.
he
She
initiates. He says,
initiated.
"I'm a hugger,"
Yeah.
and she gets in the car, and he tells us, I really liked the online relationship that I had with Carmella because I didn't have confidence to date in the real world, but meeting the real Carmella." It's not the real Carmella, got me out of my shell, and I want to put myself out there more. It's given me the confidence that there is someone out there for me. So maybe that was the closure I was looking for all along. The closure
Oh.
was inside him, Mary Payne. The
Mhm.
closure was coming
Mhm.
from inside the house, and it's
Mhm. Yeah.
beautiful. Just please don't start stalking this Carmella. That's all I
No.
need from you, Tari, and you will
Unless
end
she
this
gives
season
you
on a high note.
yeah, unless she gives you a full green light. Don't do
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Yeah. All right, talking about ending things on a bad note, let's go to Amanda and Razvan.
Oh boy.
Well,
It was a literal torture chamber this episode.
yeah, yeah. Once again, we're already to Amanda and Razvan. No St. Elmo's fire.
Mm-mm.
So they're being cute. They're snuggling in the bed, and she's saying to the producer, like, I don't know, like we're tired. We stayed up all night. And the producer says, "Did you have sex all night?" And she says, "Yes." And then
But
as
she
there's
hates it. She hates being happy. She smiles like her face is betraying her. Like she hates she's like Posh Spice. You remember Posh Spice?
yes,
Never
yes,
like she looked like she hated her body for smiling.
yes, yes. And then as she snuggles up with Razvan, he goes, "So, I'm really tired, like last night." "Yeah, uh-huh." And she goes, "Stop." And he goes, "Do you want another ride?"
Oh my god. So is his
And
sword not have blood on it now, I guess? The blood is
um,
secret?
I, I guess his,
Or was the
I don't
blood
think she was ever,
transfusion
I don't
when?
think she was ever having her
Yeah.
period. Um, she's in her talking head. She goes, I don't know. I just finally felt like after I've been here a while, like it was the right time. And I was feeling pretty bad because his friend called us toxic. And that made me want to be a better partner to him. And I was like, okay, so that's what it took for somebody to call you out.
Someone on social media was like, she literally had spite sex with him. Like when Jerry gets that jacket and then returns the jacket on
Yeah.
Seinfeld because of spite. He's like,
Yes.
does it not fit? He's like, no, I'm returning it because of spite.
Yes.
I don't like the salesman who sold it to me. And she's like having sex spite with him.
Yes. Yeah.
I
She's
have to
like,
show that girl in this thong bikini that I could do it. So I
yeah.
did it.
Because the girl has probably asked Roz, but he's like, no, not yet. And she's
Yeah.
probably like, that girl doesn't like you.
Hmm.
So then she's telling him, like, I'm glad we waited. And then they're doing a little talking head together. And he says, sometimes you were very distant with me, but I didn't feel that. I felt like in these moments we were very connected. And she's like, covers up her mouth,
Stupid laugh. Why am I
pet,
laughing? Yeah, she
pets
covers
her
it.
hair,
She
pets
really
her
had.
hair.
I don't know why there's nothing wrong with her smile. It's not like she has
No,
like some wonky
bad
teeth or
teeth.
anything.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. She covers her smile and straightens her hair with her hand
Yeah,
nonstop.
like a
Yeah,
nervous. Mhm.
like a nervous tick. So he says, today they're going to Dracula's castle. He was in this
Fun.
town. Yeah, they were going to go record it. He was going to record a music video in this town, but he canceled it because she wasn't comfortable with it and they don't have a lot of time together. And they show like them talking about this and she's really appreciative. And he says, I'm hoping this is proof for her about how I feel for her. And I'm really feeling great because we're in a good place now. So good. That's
But
great.
like
What
he's
could go wrong?
still gonna do the video and kiss the girl, but
Just not while she's
after
in
she
town.
leaves.
Right. Right.
Okay, just wanted to clarify.
So they're in this amazing town, and he shows her Dracula's castle, which was totally cool. The whole thing was cool. The town was cool. The castle was
So
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
What was she wearing though? Is she wearing running shorts on top of leggings?
I say she has on very weird pants, and I couldn't figure out if that's what the pants looked like they were supposed to look like a twofer, but they were really just a
Right, like a
whatever
camo short, but then, yeah, it's attached, maybe it's a one
to
piece to black on the bottom leggings.
black
It
on the
was
bottom
not appropriate, I don't
with
feel
sheer
like for
panels. I
castle.
didn't
Yeah,
no.
not castle appropriate.
No, no. So they giggle and he's like, "I'll race you." So she's like, "Okay." Now Amanda of last week would have been like, "No, stop. It's so embarrassing. It's dumb."
This castle is old, like, how old is this castle? Who
But
is Dracula even?
but
Why
she's
are
got
his
on her
teeth so
cute
pointy?
pants. She got laid. She's ready to run.
Yeah,
So they run and they walk around to look
it's
at these
hard to run,
various
though, when you're covering your mouth so you stop smiling.
she had a purse and then she didn't. So I was like, "Where'd the purse go?" Um
She hung it up on a tree like Jasmine.
right. So they walk around, they're looking at these various torture chambers, and he says,
Graphic, graphic. Did you see some of the photos?
I was trying to skirt past that. Yes, I did. I did. It
I
was
was
awful.
disturbed. Yeah.
I was. Yeah. So he was like, "Yeah, I just really wanted to take her to this place." And she says, "Yeah, it doesn't scream romance to me. Like this guy was a king who tortured people, and it's all like urban legend. But it's nice. It's nice because he wanted to see it with me, and he it was romantic that he planned it. Like she
Amanda,
tried.
he took you to a park and all you could complain about were the bats and the
Yeah,
too many trees. He took you to a nice restaurant and you complained because the menu was in Romanian. He's
hmm
taking you to everything romantic and you have pooped all over it.
he bought you a bathing suit." She's like, "No, yeah,
So now he's going to try taking you to a castle.
yeah, I want to go to that castle."
It looks so fun. I really want to go.
So cool. But she does try to correct herself. She's like, "It doesn't scream romance to me, but it was nice that he planned it." Like she's trying to be nice.
She's trying to not be so bitchy. Yeah.
So then he shows her this chair, which is like an interrogation chair with these spikes on it. And he goes, "Ooh, I should put you in this chair to interrogate you." And she was like, "Interrogate me about what?" He goes, "Because, like, I always ask you questions and you're not answering me. And like, I want to know, like, when are you going to tell the kids that I'm going to come there and visit?" So then we found out that he just got approved for the tourist visa. And she like hugs and kisses him and they're smiling and so happy and they can't believe it. And she said, I mean, that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
And she says, seeing him happy made me really happy. But in my mind, I'm not 100% sure he should come to the US so soon. But then when he brought up the kids about telling the kids, she goes, "I'll tell my kids when I feel ready. And I don't know when that'll be."
This
And he
is
says,
not the time and place. There are tourists everywhere. This is not like
"Yes."
a private tour. There are literally you just wander in and out of the rooms with all the other tourists.
I also feel like she's right in this, in that she doesn't have to decide right this minute when she's going to tell them. And by the way, he could come and visit and they don't have to tell the kids anything. They're like 7 and 3.
Yeah.
It'll be like, "This is
No,
my friend."
She's right to put her kids first, even though that's not really what she's done this whole season, by
Yeah,
going on this 3-week long trip, when they just lost their dad and are carrying around his ashes in a box. But
right.
no, I totally agree. She doesn't know how they're gonna feel, and she wants to go according to their mood and their
Yeah,
which is the right thing to do.
yeah. So she goes, "I'll just tell my kids, I don't know. I don't know when it will be." And he goes, "Oh, you don't tell me anything. You just say, I don't know. We will see." And he goes, "Maybe you're just like overreact. And what if you wait and tell them and then they say no? So would you stop your happiness? Like what's going to happen if you don't tell them?" And she goes, "I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to speculate. Let's just see what happens because I don't know yet. Let's go to this next room and look at some more torture devices, okay?"
I think she
And
would do exactly what every other mom on 90 Day Fiancé would do, which is say that she was putting her children first, but really put herself and her libido first and hope that her kids eventually got on board until the
mhm.
guy revealed how horrible he was. And then she pretended like she chose her children all along. And I'm talking to you, Molly.
Ah, so in her talking head, she says, "I understand that he wants to know. Like, I get it, but I've never had to find a way to introduce a romantic partner to my children. So I've never had to do it. So I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know when I'm going to do it, but he is making an uncomfortable and hard situation even worse by poking me about it, right?" So now we go to the next morning, and she's in this hotel room doing her makeup for what it seems doing one eyebrow for an hour.
Yeah.
She's just really doing that one eyebrow. And she's telling the producer about the fight they had. She says, I just think we're different and it's probably not going to work. Like, I feel like if his plans don't include being an actor or a singer when he comes to the US, then he won't do anything. Like, he's so prideful. Why would he do something else while pursuing his dreams? And then I told him, like, I do support him and his goals, but like it just snowballed from there. So then she says, I did say things that were hurtful because, hello, I'm Amanda.
Yeah.
And maybe he's not the type of man I'm looking for. I mean, I am looking for a man who's going to put his pride aside and do anything he needs for the family. Like Jason did whatever he had to do for our family. And Razvan, he just didn't respond well to that.
But that was Jason's family.
These were his children, right?
This is
Also,
not
he had another
Razvan's
family.
family.
Yeah. So,
He might be if you get married, sure.
right, right. And the talking head, she goes, look, here's what happened. I asked him, what is your plan when you come to the US? Like, what's your job? How are you going to pay the bills? Like, what's your plan? Are you just going to chase your dreams? Or are you going to contribute to the house? Like, you have to talk about realistic expectations, which is not completely wrong either. It's
No,
just
that's
that
right. Yeah,
she's so mean.
but she probably went about it in a really, yeah, mean way.
I think
You're not even a
very,
real man if you're not willing to be
yes,
a plumber to take care of your children that aren't
yes.
yours.
I
And
think
by
she
the
went,
way, I can take care of myself. I make my own money, which she keeps saying, but then she keeps saying she needs him to contribute.
I
And
just think she was speaking down to him.
I think she was definitely condescending to him, totally.
Yeah.
Like the
So
way,
out,
what's her name in, talks to Johan,
oh,
Danielle.
Danielle. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, dum dum.
a butcher
Okay.
shop shouldn't have flies in it.
It's also not wrong.
Also
So
not wrong, but
outside, the producer talks to him. They're sitting at a table. And he says, sorry, the dogs are barking. So the producer says to Razvan, um, what happened? And Razvan says, last night things were good. We had a bath and we had some wine. And they keep flashing back to the pictures of the wine corks. And then it started with who has more money. Like, obviously, we know, like, she has more money, but I've never asked for money from her. And then she started saying that Jason could provide for her and anything she wanted, he would just get it for her. But I can't be compared to Jason because Jason's not here. And I don't understand why she had to ruin a good night and say these things. And then she told me in her heart, she doesn't think it will work.
he's crying.
Bawling.
Yeah. And his lips
Now,
are all like red and chapped or
he's upset. Well,
something. He's
that's from the making out the night
making
before.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
They kept
So
zooming in on his lips. And I was like, why are you doing that to him?
he's like a hickey monster.
Yeah.
So back to her, still working on that one eyebrow.
Yeah.
And she
Trying
goes,
to squeeze out one tear.
yeah. She goes, listen, we don't go well together. And also, I think like, did I get into a relationship too quickly?
Yes.
Yes. Does he know how to be with someone who has these open wounds of losing a husband and being a widowed mom?
No one would.
Pet, 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 pet the hair. And talking heads, he says to producer, he goes, I know that she's had these hard times. And so I was just trying to be patient. And I was thinking she would heal eventually. But maybe I was lying to myself and maybe I just fell in love and it's not right. And then we see her in the talking head and she goes, he's the first person that I've been with since my tragedy. And I'm the first person he's been with since he had his heart broken. And so maybe nothing was ever truly there. Maybe we just wanted to see it. And she does squeeze out one tear.
She does, where the kind where you've just done your makeup, so
Yeah,
you just pat, you press that tissue really hard under your eyeball, and you're
yeah,
like, just catch that tiny little tear. Meanwhile,
yeah,
he's sobbing.
yeah. On Real Housewives of Potomac with Candace, we call that the cry angle
Ah,
because she makes a sharp angle
yes,
and pokes her right in the corner of her eye. Yeah. So somebody made that up on the internet. I didn't make
that's
it up.
good.
Um, so then she says, maybe he says, maybe she's not ready to commit, or maybe I'm not what she needs. And I feel like, is there something wrong with me? But in the right relationship, you wouldn't feel this, that there's something wrong with you. So I don't know if it's over. I don't have an answer. It's very confusing.
I don't like when people say
Oh,
confusing on the show because it makes me think of when Ben and what's her face, Mahogany, kissed
uh-huh.
for the first
Oh,
time.
so confuso.
Muy confuso. And it
Muy
was like,
confuso.
"What? What are
Yeah,
you saying?"
yeah. A girl that speaks fluent English and who's now on
Confuso.
OnlyFans. What did you say? Muy confuso. So next time on 90 Day Before the 90 Days, Sheila says the three of us, meaning her and John Real and David, not Amy, she says the three of us should bond more and do more things. And we see some playful scenes of them in the ocean. And she says, because I know that my son is scared and I don't know how he feels about moving to the US. So they go, do you want to move to America? And he's like, nah, I don't.
Mm-mm.
Of course, he's going to say no. He doesn't want to leave the only town he's ever known and his friend. Of course, he doesn't know.
No.
So Statler says she doesn't know what's going on and she worries she sabotaged her whole relationship. And Dempsey comes in and they sit down to talk. I'm thinking Dempsey is going to say, listen, I'm so happy if you move here, but you can't,
Yeah.
you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
I don't think, yeah,
Right.
I don't think she's breaking up with her. Yeah.
I think she's just like, this is going way too fast.
Yeah.
So Violet and Riley meet up in a restaurant. We haven't seen them in a couple of weeks. And he brings
But there has been
flowers.
social media movement.
What?
You sent it to me. She apologized, said she lied on the show, and that he asked specifically, "What should I bring your mom as a gift?" And she said, "You don't have to bring anything." And she said, "I pretended that that didn't happen on the show to make you look bad or something. And I'm so sorry." You sent it
It's
to me.
okay. Well, it must have been a couple of weeks ago, and my brain has been filled with too many other things since then because I totally
I
forgot
mean,
that.
that was not their biggest scandal, and then people hate him for way other reasons than not bringing the
Yeah.
mom a gift, but that was one really dumb thing he did, but apparently he specifically asked, "What should I bring your mom?" And she said, "Nothing. Don't bring her anything." And then on the show
Wow.
acted like, "You were an idiot for not bringing my mom a gift."
Mm. So he brings flowers and he says, I want to talk to you and things haven't been great, but I want to apologize. And then she cries and says, like, I did not feel protected by you. You just let her ask me these questions. And I felt very disappointed in you. And he sort of looks to the ceiling in a what could be an eye roll.
She needs to
Um,
explain what happened with her husband at the hospital when she gave birth.
yeah,
Sounds like that was very traumatic for her, and she needs to explain to him that's where this issue is coming from.
yeah. So now we see Cleo and Christian sitting with what I assume is an astrologer because she's very into astrology, who's
Yeah.
working on their chart.
Yeah.
And the astrologer says, I do see that you are connected, but Christian lacks the sensitivity. So I'm not sure that you guys will stay together. And Cleo just completely burst into tears,
Bursts into tears.
like right there on the spot. And
Starts
she says,
bawling. Yeah.
if things don't work out, I don't think I can deal with it. That's what she says. Like, wow, really?
Him? Come on.
This guy?
You could do so much better.
Yeah.
What's
Uh,
frustrating is watching all of these people on the show. You know they're going to get great exposure and they're going to meet someone way better.
mhm.
For
Yeah.
example, Razvan. He will get another hot American that will bring him here and let him focus on it. Kimberly will probably bring him over. And
Yeah.
he's going to be fine. But we
Yeah.
know that, but he doesn't know that yet. And
Yeah.
Cleo doesn't know that yet.
Yeah. Totally. So then we see Nicola and in the car and he says, Misha, how are you feeling if my mom is rude to you, Misha? And she's like, why would your mom be rude to me? And he tells his talking head, like, this is an atomic bomb to my mother because I have hidden Misha for 7 years. And then we see what we guess is one
Atomic
of the
bomb is
brother.
because of me, Misha.
And then we see him with his brother, which we guess is the big, not the little, because the little knows.
Right?
He says, tell me about you. We know nothing about you. She's like, ta-da.
Not my fault.
And then we see Gino and Jasmine joking around about her being pregnant. He says, you look pregnant, and touches her stomach. Well, that's not a cool thing to say.
Well, no, I thought it was because she's wearing a fanny pack. So he's touching the top of the fanny pack. Like
Yeah.
that's her stomach. Like, can you
I,
look? But maybe he was doing it not in that cute way.
Whatever. She'll probably think that's cute anyway. And then she says, Gino, I have to ask, if I don't want a baby, will you going to still marry me and be happy? And the answer to that is no, because he has said very clearly he wants children.
And has she told him from the beginning she would have them? Probably. And now
Because
she's
remember in their first season they were on together, she was taking birth control pills
without telling him.
without telling him.
You're right.
Hmm.
Is this going to be a Penny and Armando, or we're just going to have to watch them fight about it forever?
Yeah, Jasmine's only 35, so
Yeah, but she has several children, including a sister child, and
yeah.
she might be done.
Yeah, she has several children. She's leaving in Panama to go to
Yeah,
Michigan.
and she's just spent thousands and thousands of dollars on her new face and body,
Uh-huh.
so she might not want to have kids.
Yeah, for all of you watching her on social media and she has everything tagged in Panama City, she is in Michigan. We have a monkey that has sent us pictures. She's at Gino's house.
She's a liar.
She's a liar.
I still think she's great television, though, and
Yeah.
I think she's severely damaged.
Yeah. That's what makes a great television star.
Yep.
Kimberly, so what's happening over in A Date with Dateline? We're still talking about frogging.
No, we have a new episode coming out on Wednesday, which is Mystery of Horseshoe Drive. It is a Dateline. We're going back
Okay.
and forth with frogging, so we don't want to piss people off.
Okay. Mystery of Horseshoe Drive can be found where? On
Peacock.
Peacock? Okay. Mystery of Horseshoe Drive.
Yeah. Not to
It's a
be
great
confused with the 15,000 other episodes that have had mystery in the title.
mystery of
I
Coots
listed
Court.
them all, the
Yeah.
ones that we had done in our episode.
Oh, okay, good.
I literally searched my app and was like, what have we done with the word mystery in it? It was like 20 episodes. And I read
Oh, okay.
all for
Okay, I
a
love it.
comedy effect.
Okay, I
Because
love
I
it.
do like teasing Dateline about their titles.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She was hotter than a rat's ass on a tin can. That's just some of the shit they say on that show. You're like, "What?" Oh my gosh, I'm so excited because my husband is downstairs cooking dinner and it smells so good. It's wafting up to my office and I feel like this
Oh,
is a
good.
a good reward for my very terrible day that I had.
Also, Mary Payne had a very important medical procedure that all ladies should be getting.
Yes, squeeze your boobs, get your mammograms done, guys. I had that today too, in addition to everything else that was going on in my life.
Which is a great reminder for all the ladies out there.
That's right, ladies. Everybody, get
Or
your
people with
mammogram.
breasts, I should say.
Anybody that needs a mammogram should get one.
Yeah.
And my daughter said to me yesterday, my daughter's 20, said, I'm never doing that. I go, well, yes, you are. It's required by law. No, it's not. But
Tell
you
her it
need,
is.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, you will. She won't know.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, you will get one. And I said, guess what? You're lucky because you have big knockers, and big knockers are easier to get a mammogram with.
So true.
It's worse for people with little boobs to get a mammogram
Yeah.
because there's not as much to squeeze. And she was
Mhm.
like, oh, okay. That's all I had to tell her to convince her.
Great.
Whatever.
All
Don't
her
be
back
afraid
and
of
neck
it.
problems
Yeah.
doesn't really make up for that, but it's fine.
Listen, don't be afraid to get a mammogram. It is literally nothing. I would get a
They're
mammogram
so
every
nice
day.
too, the people that work there.
Yeah. They whatever you got, they've seen
They've seen it
better
all.
and worse. They don't care.
Yeah.
And I will tell you too about a mammogram, and I've said this to my OBGYN. I was like, I would get a mammogram weekly to never have to get another pap smear.
So true.
Yeah. It's nothing. It's
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing. So that's my PSA. Get your mammograms, ladies and people who need them. I don't know. I do know a friend of mine whose dad had breast cancer. Like it's very
Yes.
rare in men, but it totally
Yes.
can happen. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Men, watch your breasticles as well
And your testes.
and your testicles. We don't need to go into that. Everybody follow Kimberly and Katie over on A Date with Dateline at Dateline on Instagram. Follow us at Pink Shade Pod. And later this week, I'll be doing a Barely Bravo Shades of Bravo breakdown, possibly with producer Ingrid. And let's see what else. Oh, over on Supercast and Patreon, $10 level, I'm recording with Katie, Kimberly's podcasting partner.
I've
We are
heard of
doing,
her.
her name is Katie. She has pink hair, and we're doing 90 Day UK. And we're doing a solid 10 to 20 minutes at the beginning of every episode about Dirt Cheap and Thread Up and everything. Places we're finding great deals.
That's why people keep tagging us and saying, show this to Katie.
Yeah, show this to Case. Katie's not on social media. Kimberly has to show her.
Yeah.
And then over the weekend, I'll be doing Temptation Island and 90 Day the Other Way with Amy Archer. So that's what's happening. And I'll also have a great interview coming up next week, I believe, with Emily and Kobe. On. Yeah,
Yes.
they were so great.
Favorites.
Yeah, I love them so much. I had like a 30, 45 minutes conversation with them. It was really fun. That's going to come out next week because I'm going to be in Denver
And if you
for the
think, by the
podcast
way,
movement.
that their season was representative of them, I don't think it was, because they actually seem really fun on Pillow Talk. It's one.
That's what I told them. I was like, how much like are you getting where people that like love you so much that maybe you didn't have such a great season? And she reminded us that Kobe moved to a brand new town, had never seen his 1.5-year-old child, moved in with her family, and they were renovating 2 bathrooms in their house. That's why they only had one. He had never met her parents, moving in with strangers, planning a wedding, meeting his child for the first time. Hadn't seen her
that's a lot
in 2 years. Yeah, it's like, it was a lot. It was
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah. So anyway,
I would watch them on Ever After.
they want to have, she said they would love to do it, and they have 2 kids now, and they want to have 2 more.
Gotcha.
He
I
comes
love
from
her
10.
dad.
He comes from 10 kids, and she comes from 5.
Yeah, they seem to really
Yeah.
like getting pregnant.
Yeah, they do.
When that was the one thing her dad said, don't do.
Yeah. I did ask him if he would tell me the secret of
No,
what happened at the wedding. And he
Katie and
said,
I fought over that.
no, he was like, no, of course not. I'm not going to tell you. She goes, we were just in like Charleston, or they'd been somewhere in the South, and they were at a resort or something. And people came up to them like, oh, were you on the show? Can you tell us the secret about the wedding? Yeah. He's
Would
like,
you
everybody
love
wants to
that?
know. Yeah. He's
Holding
like,
that over everyone. I
yeah.
would love that.
He's so funny though, because he goes, because see, here's the thing about what is a secret. The secret means that you don't tell people.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
that. That was
They were
such
really
a
cute.
relationship.
Yeah. So look forward to that next week, guys.
Okay, I can't wait.
All right, still covering Love During Lockup on Monday's show with Keisha. We're done with Match Me
I caught
Abroad.
up, so I'm ready to listen.
Okay, awesome. And that's all. And talk to you next week.
Bye. Thank you for having me.
Bye. Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.